everyone, welcome back to The Explainer. If you are an 8th grader tuning in today, a massive, special welcome to you. I'm absolutely thrilled to be your guide for this one. Just think of me as your enthusiastic teacher, ready to unpack some seriously incredible ideas with you today. So we're going to be looking at something called living liberty. We're exploring how historical ideals, the kinds of ideas that literally built nations, well, they aren't just locked away in the past. They actually apply directly to your life, your community, and your world right this second. Especially when we pair them with the foundation of biblical morality. Okay, let's dive into this and look at our roadmap for today. First, we'll cover the Declaration's living ideals. Second, the biblical responsibility of freedom. Third, ideals in today's world. Fourth, reflecting on our principles. And finally, number 5, education united with morality. All right, jumping right into section 1, the Declaration's living ideals, or discovering the what. Now, to really grasp the what here, we have to mentally travel all the way back to 1776. I mean, it's super easy to just picture a bunch of guys in powdered wigs signing a piece of paper and think, well, that's done, moving on. But I really want you to ask yourself, is the Declaration of Independence just history? Seriously, think about it for a second. Is it just some dusty museum relic sitting behind thick glass that we only memorized to pass a history test?
The answer to that is an emphatic no. Actually, scratch that. It's more like absolutely not. It is a living, breathing set of principles. These words were written to be active, everyday rules of engagement for citizens. They're ideas that we have to wake up and actually choose to protect every single day. They didn't just expire the second the ink dried. They literally gained power as new generations took them up. And we know this because the Declaration's ideals actively guide how we think about these 3 crucial pillars of our modern society. Justice, which is how we ensure fairness for everyone. Rights, which are the inherent freedoms you possess just by being a human being. And government, which is the system we build together to protect those rights. So when you hear debates today about what's fair, or what your rights are in your community, or how a law should work, you are literally watching the living ideals of 1776 happening right in front of you. Moving right along to section 2, the biblical responsibility of freedom. This is all about understanding the why. So it's great to know what our ideals are, but we absolutely have to understand the motivation behind protecting them in the first place. Like, why do we care about justice, rights, and good government? Well, for that, we look to biblical morality to find our anchor. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what that anchor looks like. Isaiah 1:17 says, "Learn to do right, seek justice, defend the oppressed." Now, if you're an 8th grader today, this isn't just nice poetry. This is an action plan. Seeking justice means keeping your eyes wide open in your school cafeteria, in your neighborhood, and even online. Defending the oppressed, that means standing up for the kid who's being left out or treated unfairly. It's taking this giant idea of justice out of a historical document and walking it out in your sneakers. And we see this exact same theme in the New Testament, too. Galatians 5:13 tells us, "Do not use your freedom to indulge the flesh. Rather, serve one another humbly in love." The source material points out something really vital here. Freedom is a gift from God, for sure, but it comes with a massive responsibility. It isn't just some free pass to be selfish or to just do whatever feels good in the moment. So when we put all of this together, we arrive at this core truth. True liberty means using your rights to bless others and protect the vulnerable. It's really about honoring God in your actions. If you're free, you use that freedom to lift somebody else up. That is hands down the highest, most noble use of the rights those founders fought for. Okay, let's move to section 3, ideals in today's world, bridging past and present. Let's see how this builds, because now that we understand the what and the why, we need to look at the practical side of things. How do we actually bridge the past and the present in our crazy, complex modern world? Well, let's weigh these side by side. On the left here, we have the foundational ideals of 1776, equality, liberty, and consent of the governed. And on the right, we have modern current events. When you look at the news today, whether it's a huge debate over a new local law, or discussions about free speech, or issues of civic fairness, you gotta ask yourself, are those ideals on the left being upheld, or are they being challenged? Thinking about this helps you see where we as a society have made fantastic progress, and honestly, where there's still plenty of work remaining for your generation to tackle. Which brings us to section 4, reflecting on our principles. Basically the how and your personal mission. Now, I really don't want you to view this as just another boring homework assignment. This is an empowering mission. It's about how you, as a young citizen, start flexing your civic muscles. So the crucial point is how you take action. And we can break this down into 4 really clear steps. First, choose a current event that you actually care about. Second, connect it back to one of those founding ideals we just talked about. Third, analyze it. Check if equality is truly being upheld in that specific situation. And fourth, describe a practical way you personally could support liberty in that context. It's all about connecting the dots between those huge big picture ideas and your everyday reality. And while you're going through those steps, I want you to chew on this specific question from our source material. How does consent of the governed work in modern democracy? Remember, consent of the governed simply means the government only gets its power because the people say it's okay. But how does that actually happen today? Well, it happens through voting, through civic participation, through speaking up at town halls. Your future vote and your voice, they totally matter because they are the actual mechanism of that consent. So why is it so incredibly important to reflect on these founding principles regularly? Because reflection helps turn knowledge into action. Knowing facts doesn't change the world. Acting on them does. Being a citizen isn't a spectator sport, guys. It requires your active participation, your critical thinking, and your willingness to step into the arena and defend what is right. All right, rounding the corner to Section 5, Education United with Morality. Let's talk about the HeroesMart Academy philosophy. Let's zoom out a bit here. Everything we've discussed today, the history, government, civic duty, it's all part of your education. But the HeroesMart Academy's Godly Learners series has a very specific overarching philosophy about how this education should work. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the stark contrast it presents. Look at the left side, education without morality. When you disconnect intelligence from a moral compass, it inevitably leads to bad choices that hurt people. It's totally disconnected from a higher purpose. But then, on the right side, education with morality brings peace of mind. The Academy roots this in the promise of Romans 8:6-7, which teaches that a spiritual mind brings life and peace. They believe that true learning absolutely must engage the spirit, not just the brain. Because realistically, you have to ask yourself, what is the point of being smart and supposedly educated if you just continue to make choices that hurt yourself and others? True intelligence absolutely requires a moral compass. You can have all the facts in the world about 1776 memorized, but if you don't have the morality to serve one another humbly in love, that knowledge is kind of empty. Education and morality simply must be united. So I want to leave you with this final, really powerful thought today. The founders risked their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor for these ideals of equality and liberty. They literally handed this framework down to us. And now, the baton is in your hand. How will you protect them today? Think about that as you go out into your community this week. Let that question guide your reflections, your choices, and your actions. Keep learning, keep seeking justice, and I will see you on the next explainer.